Hey everyone, this is James from SoundLink Magazine and you're watching SoundlinkTV. Today I'm with Donny Burbage, guitar player for Cradle of Filth, and in about last 48 hours, Æther Realm's time is up. So
yeah,
is it kind of bittersweet on this tour?
yeah, it's a little bittersweet. It's like I've been in this band for like 10 years, and you know, it's like it's where I cut my teeth and became like a touring musician. My first tour was with these guys, and I learned how to, you know, fill in a lot of roles. Like I used to kind of like be a guitar tech, so with this band I would tech and stuff also. I got a lot of gigs playing this band, filling in for other bands and stuff. So
I can only imagine that it's super bittersweet, like you said, because you're from here. You guys are from North Carolina.
yeah,
And in your last, what, 3 shows are in North Carolina?
yeah.
Because I know you were like in Atlanta or something the other day, right?
Yeah, our first show was Atlanta. Then we did Asheville, which is where I live now, and then Raleigh today, and then Greenville, North Carolina, which is actually where it all began for us.
So that's exciting for you, but also like, holy shit, I'm going up to Cradle now. Is that like, can you still try to process that? I know you're still doing stuff with Cradle already, but
Yeah, I've been doing stuff with Cradle for 3 years now. So the most recent album that came out I wrote that album with them, and it was cool because I got to write keys for that as well. I grew up listening to Cradle, and that's the band that made me want to write keys for metal. And I got to do that in Æther Realm, but it's weird that it came full circle and I get to do it with Cradle. And you know, another full circle thing is just like the last show is in Greenville, North Carolina, which is where Æther Realm started. So there's a lot of like kind of full completion circle things, cycles, if you will.
and I listened to that most recent album with Cradle, and that was a very good album. But I'm curious on the styles. Yes, they're both kind of death metal in a way, but they're both kind of different. One's melodic, one's kind of more symphonic. Does that change how you play a little bit or no?
Absolutely, yeah, it does. But I'm used to being like a musical chameleon. I've filled in for a bunch of different bands and different genres. I've written for a bunch of different bands, different genres. There's a blues album that I'm on that you can find on Spotify.
Jeez.
There's a country album that I've done.
Oh,
There's I used to play in jazz band. I've played classical. You know, like in Æther Realm, I was able to combine a lot of those influences into some of the songs. Like Redneck Vikings from Hell is a great example. It has like a bluegrass section in it, and Jake and I sat down, we wrote that together. There's like Latin American inspired stuff and flamenco stuff in Æther Realm also. Æther Realm is where I got to like try different like genres and smash them together. To me, the thing is, the playing it is not the difficult part when you switch back and forth. Like with Cradle, going back between that and Æther Realm was tough because Cradle's a 6-string guitar tuned down a whole step. Æther Realm's 7-string guitar is tuned in standard, and it's like you have to just get used to like playing a smaller guitar again when you go back to Cradle. But like there's like a mental switch that has to happen, I think, in order to be able to perform different genres to where it sounds convincing to someone who normally plays those all the time. So I find myself listening to a lot of different music that gets me in the zone for each band, just to be mentally there, because I think that's the way to pull it off.
And how does it like compare? First of all, your band is great, but right now your theatrics are not that extreme of Cradle.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, is that like a transition where it was like uncomfortable at first to kind of like, I gotta paint my face, I gotta kind of change everything to kind of fit the theatrics?
Yeah, when I first got asked to, like, the first thing with Cradle was I was asked to fill in, and then I was asked to stay on later. But when I was still in that, like, I'm filling in zone, it was my first tour with them ever, I only had like 4 weeks to learn 16 songs of Cradle.
Jeez, not enough time.
Well, it wasn't that bad because it was like, I'm used to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually when someone calls you and they need you to fill in, it's because they need someone last minute. So I'm just used to getting tossed like last minute, like, we need you real fast. Can you learn these songs? It's like, yeah, no problem. And I have a whole system of how I do that and can do it quickly. But I wasn't stressing out about learning the songs. I was strangely more worried about, what am I going to wear in Cradle of Filth? And how am I going to paint my face? Because I've never done that before. I don't know how to do that. So,
is it like, how did you kind of finalize your look there? Because I'm kind of like that black stripe just across the face.
Yeah, that was easy. It's just, you know, just a
going Viking.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a Viking look, and Aether's got like a Viking vibe to it. And I thought that, you know, everyone tells me I look like a Viking, so I was like, yeah, let's
just
roll with that. You know,
how did the I guess the phone call to fill in and then the phone call to, hey, we want you to join full time come about?
Yeah, so I had filled in for a few bands before initially, and basically my name popped up. They needed someone who could do a U.S. tour that didn't need a visa because they only had 4 weeks. That's not enough time to get a visa for anyone else. So they called a couple people, one of them being a friend of mine in Finland, the other one being a friend of mine in Canada, and both of them basically recommended me. And so I get a call from Grant Truesdale from Unleashed Archers, who actually says, hey, do you want to do this Cradle gig? And I was actually supposed to guitar tech for Hypocrisy.
Oh, jeez.
But I said, oh, dude, I got to do this tech gig. And I went, wait, is this a play? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, man, I'd rather play, dude, you know? So I had to call my tour manager and be like, you're going to hate me. I'm going to take this Cradle gig. I just got asked to play for them. And their management called me, set everything up, and basically I got an email saying, here's the songs, learn them.
How did the boys in Æther Realm take it when you were like, I got to do this opportunity?
So I missed playing a festival with Æther Realm that I always wanted to play, which was Prog Power in Atlanta.
Oh, geez.
And I always wanted to play that festival really badly. I never played it. I teched for Evergrey when they played it. But yeah, man, like I don't know. It's just I was like, I'm so sorry. I got asked to do this, and I think I'm gonna try to do it. Can we get Chris Jones to fill in for me, which is the guy who's replacing me now in Æther Realm? And I was like, like Jake was actually really, really cool with it. He ironically, Heinrich also got asked to do the Cradle gig as well.
Oh, geez.
But Heinrich's like, no, I don't have time to do it.
Was he the first choice, or were you the first choice?
So Awesome, the guy in Finland, knew that I was supposed to do the Hypocrisy gig, so he knew not to call me. So he called Heinrich.
Oh, jeez.
And he called Grant, but Grant couldn't do it, so Grant called me. And that's basically how it ended up happening.
I love that it worked out for you. Like,
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity. You mentioned not playing that fest, but I feel like you're going to have a lot more opportunities to play some bigger shows with Cradle.
Oh, I have, yeah. Like, I've done Wacken, I've done Hellfest, I've done...
Wacken's a fucking big one.
I've now played a show in 43 countries, so it's pretty cool. Like,
and you're only from North Carolina. Like, who does that from North Carolina, right? Besides Between the Buried and Me, which I think you're a fan of, correct?
I am. Actually, I know their old guitar tech, Andy Townsend, very well. He's the one that taught me how to guitar tech.
It's the North Carolina connection. Everybody's got to know everybody from here.
It really is that way, yeah.
I'm just... The whole story was interesting, but then I'm curious how the tour came about, this final tour with the last couple shows. Were they just like, we just want to kind of send you off the right way, let's go out all
it was
on a high?
Yeah, it was Jake's idea to do that. He which was cool because like most bands don't really do anything like that. It's just like, okay, this is the new guy, and then just we're on tour with this new guy, and like that's it. But Jake kind of wanted to make it like a special thing where it's like, we're going to have this like ceremony where you pass the torch to Chris and...
Is there going to be fire?
No, you're not. No, that costs money to have that in the venue, actually. There's like paperwork for fire, apparently.
Oh,
even it's like a torch, like so yeah, I mean it's like a fake torch, but yeah, like yeah, we just he just wanted to do that. I thought it was a really cool thing, and it's kind of like the emotional part is the whole ceremony thing that happens, which is kind of like it's I don't know, it's like weird. It's like you just see like all these people that are looking at me and they're like, I don't really realize like how many people see me as important in Æther Realm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, it's a collective unit, but like people really latch on to like each individual person in that unit, and they think collectively it works together. It's a very important thing, but they have a tie to each person individually also in some way. And so there's a lot of like feelings back and forth between the audience and myself when I see that, when the whole ceremony goes down. Playing the last show that they'll see me play in too is, kind of a thing. It's like the first show we did it, we hadn't practiced the ceremony, and then I just was like, had like a lump in my throat. I was like, oh
God, he's crying. Yeah, he's like, don't let the tears fall. So I feel like the only way to truly go out is just to play the full 20 minutes of the sun, the moon, the stars.
Yeah.
I feel like they just got to go out that way. Just play the whole song.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the set list right there.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it 3 times.
What
actually.
with that? Yeah. Oh God. With that, like that, is that a challenging song to play, or is that the most challenging that you've played, or what is the most challenging song that you've had to play that you've written?
The most challenging song that Æther Realm has is The Devil.
What makes it so challenging?
It's a very, very hard riff. And it's very, very fast. There's not much room for error in it. The Sun, Moon, and Star is challenging to play. It's a very hard song to play also, but it's my favorite one to play. So I really enjoy playing it. It's
mine too, because Pokemon. It starts with the Pokemon stuff, and I'm like, yes, it's great.
Yeah, that's actually a Game Boy.
Is it a Game Boy?
It is actually a Game Boy. Like the sound you hear at the beginning is an actual Game Boy. There's this like modified cartridge you can get. I think it's called like VDJ or something like that, or I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's a modified cartridge you can get. And you can modify a Game Boy. And Eric W. Brown from Necrogoblicon, he does a lot of chiptune music, and it's his Game Boy. And Jake wrote the intro for it, and then Eric just programmed it into his Game Boy, and then we just plugged a cable into the Game Boy into an audio interface while on tour and just recorded it. And
just fired it up.
That sound is exactly that. It's 100% an actual Game Boy.
That is intense. I always thought it was like an intro to like a Pokemon loading screen.
Yeah,
what it sounded like. But I guess that's probably why I mixed it
red
up.
and blue.
Because because the Game Boy theme, that checks out. Okay. So last couple questions is, when I'm looking at the new direction with Cradle, and you wrote this last album with them, what was that kind of process like, and working with Danny and the rest of the guys to kind of piece that together?
So there's a lot of it where most of it's done individually, but also kind of like we have like a riff folder. And so we just use Dropbox, and we basically like write ideas, like little riff ideas. We put them in a folder. And then sometimes the drummer will take riff ideas and try to piece them together. And then that wasn't really like melding too well together. Like sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So I basically would like, the first song that I wrote for that album, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to write keys and stuff. So I just wrote this whole song, and I wrote all the guitar parts, all the bass. I wrote drums and then keyboards and orchestrations for it. And I was like, hey, here's an idea. And they were like, yeah, this is really cool, actually. But you're like, yeah, you don't have to do the keys and stuff. Martin will do that, or Zoe will do it. And but then Zoe would like write keys, and then I would take her keys and I would just like make them darker sounding, and then like try to preserve her original idea, but like make it sound very Midian era Cradle of Filth vibes to it. And then so we worked together on some stuff, and then the other guitar player and I, we would use Zoom calls and throw ideas together. And I would have like a song structure done, but I'd be like, okay, I have this riff here, but I need like a thrash riff and a punk riff. And then I have this other part here, and here's a heavy riff, and here's like, it's going to go into a melodic phrase. I spent a lot of time listening to a lot of Cradle to kind of like get the idea for like the sauce. Like, how does it formulate work? Like, what is the things that make it work? And I feel like I've kind of like stumbled upon like what the difference is in each like era of Cradle. It's like this era has this sound to it, and here's how you achieve it. This one's this way, and this one's this way. And so if you want to, the idea was to try to make it sound like older era, like kind of like pre-Nymphetamine, Midian, and earlier sounding, but sound like the last 3 albums also, because those were really good albums. I like them a lot. So it was just kind of like okay, it has to modulate this way. It has to do this here. It has to have this key change here, or and a lot of it's like very nerdy musical stuff, because I'm a very nerdy musical person. But I find that I'm very, very, very good at like replicating specific styles and sounds of different genres. So I just took all that skills that I've gained from being a session guy and used that to help me write for Cradle to make it sound kind of Midian, but also, heavier and fresh and newer if I can.
And when you're looking back at like, last question, when you're looking back at like the last 10 years with this band, what is your like most fondest memory? Like the one that you're like, yeah, this was a fun time.
With Æther Realm?
Yeah.
The first time we ever played Europe was really cool, because it was my first time in Europe since I was probably a kid or something, I think, honestly. And it was really, really cool. I got to experience that with my best friends. and that was like one of the coolest things. And it was really funny because in Europe they have this thing called American sandwich sauce, and it makes
I don't know what the hell that
yeah,
is.
no one knows what it is. And we were all like, what is this? Like, what is American sandwich sauce? It's Thousand Island dressing is what it is, actually.
No, that's what we use.
But like, minus the relish, doesn't have any relish. It's just like just ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together, and like that's it. But like the weird thing about it is the picture has like a ham sandwich, and I was like, I feel like I would never put ketchup on a ham sandwich. This is like the weirdest thing in the world to me. But like that's what they think we do, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
But it was funny to like be with the squad, and like we just experienced like this like weird culture shock between those things, and it was really 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 funny. That was probably like the most amazingly fun thing that I remember vividly. And I remember working on Tarot and working on Redneck Vikings from Hell being like kind of like a stressful thing, but it was a lot of fun also to work on, you know. And I remember moving in with them and all that stuff, and we just banged out an album, because if we didn't, we would owe the label a lot of money.
It's a good way to bang out an album.
Yeah. You gotta put like a time limit on yourself and say, it's got to get done, or else it'll never get done. You know. But yeah, I think touring Europe with them was like really fun, really cool for me. You know?
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it, and good luck with everything. I mean, you're
Thanks,
gonna kill it, dude. A great album last time. So
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, dude.
all right, guys. I'm James from SoundLink Magazine, and that's Donnie. Thanks for watching.